Hello, Radiant Leo, and welcome to Eternal Mindfulness, where your light is never too much, and your destiny is never delayed. If you've landed on this video, it's not by coincidence. It's because something in your spirit, something deep and unshaken, knows that now is the time to listen. And I'll tell you this up front, this video is here to help you unlock your winning energy. You're about to receive a cosmic code, one that may very well shift the trajectory of your financial luck, and possibly your life. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly believed that something incredible was meant for you? Not because you earned it through struggle. Not because someone gave you permission. But because you simply exist. Because you were born deserving. Leo, this is not just another horoscope. This is a transmission, a spiritual download, tuned specifically for your energy. And I know that sounds big, because it is. The stars have aligned in a rare, divine way, and what's unfolding in your life isn't just chance. It's the universe responding to your inner roar. Today's reading was crafted to reconnect you with your power, the power you may have forgotten, dimmed, or second-guessed. But it never left. It's always been there, waiting for you to say the words that unlock it. That's why I need you to stay with me. In the next few minutes, I'll guide you through a sequence of energies, dates, numbers, and phrases that are more than just lucky. They are aligned with your personal soul print. And the deeper you go, the clearer your next move will become. But before we go there, I want to pause and thank you. Not in passing. Not casually. But with all the sincerity in my being. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for being present, with your curiosity, your belief, and your sacred time. Every like you share, every comment you leave, and every single subscription you offer, it's not just support. It's alignment. It brings you deeper into the soul family we're building here at Eternal Mindfulness. And whether this is your first video or your 100th, you are seen. You are appreciated. And you belong. Now, Leo, hear me clearly. This moment is more powerful than it seems. And what the universe is preparing to show you isn't just information. It's transformation. But only if you stay open. Only if you stay until the very end. Because the final part of this video contains a message that gave even me chills when I first received it. So I'll ask you one more thing before we begin. What did your spirit do to bring you here, right now? What bold whisper from your soul brought this video into your path? That whisper is the same voice that will carry you through the next chapter. So breathe deeply. Sit tall. Because Leo, your code is waiting. And the moment you claim it, everything begins to shift. Stay with me. We're just getting started. When Venus, the planet of attraction and pleasure, aligns with Jupiter, the magnifier of all things fortunate, a rare energetic gateway is opened. For Leo, a sign ruled by the sun and born to radiate, this celestial moment activates the 5th house, the domain of personal expression, inspired risk, and divine play. This is not just an astrological transit. It is a cosmic invitation to remember the innate joy of being alive, and more than that, to receive. In moments like these, the universe doesn't just whisper your name. It calls you forward with a thunderous glow. Fire signs, especially Leo, are born to move boldly in the direction of their passions. But even fire needs direction, and even the sun has its rhythms. What we're seeing now is not random heat, it's a focused blaze. Venus softens Jupiter's expansion, shaping it into something you can actually hold, use, and feel. This is a cycle where confidence becomes currency, an expression, be it through a project, a risk, a game, or even a lottery ticket, becomes a channel through which life rushes back to meet you. The more honestly you express, the more clearly the world reflects that radiance back. Timing matters. In the language of the stars, timing is everything. That's why the windows between 3 to 5 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. hold so much magnetic potential for you now. These are the hours when your ruling star, the sun, is either still high enough to lend its full warmth or transitioning through the sky in a soft golden descent. Jupiter, which governs timing and luck, harmonizes with these windows like a sacred bell ringing through your energy field. If you feel an urge to act during these times, to try something, to say yes, to place your name in a draw, honor it. Those subtle nudges are your alignment tuning itself in real time. But here's something deeper: the true magic of this transit doesn't lie in winning or gaining. It lies in awakening. The stars don't reward ego, they illuminate soul. That moment, 3 days before you felt called to do something different, was not random. In ancient philosophy, it's understood that the soul often receives a signal before the mind catches up. It's like the breath before the breath. And those 72 hours? They're the echo of your future self tapping your shoulder, asking, "Are you ready yet?" From that point onward, the energetic wave builds, and for 2 weeks, your system is more sensitive to intention, resonance, and commitment than usual. Think of this as tuning your instrument before playing a sacred song. Everything you do during this time becomes amplified. That includes thoughts, words, gestures, even the way you speak to yourself. If you want luck, speak like someone who already walks with it. If you want to win, behave like someone who's already worthy of receiving. This is not performance. It's practice. It's remembrance. And maybe, just maybe, that's what you've forgotten, not how to shine, but that shining requires no permission. Not how to believe, but that belief doesn't have to be proven. This moment, this rare planetary dance, is not offering you a path out of your current life. It's offering you a path deeper into it. To realign with the pulse of something greater, not outside of you, but within. You don't need to force the light. You are the light. And when you remember that, everything, truly everything, begins to change. Preparation isn't always about doing more. Sometimes, it's about becoming still enough to remember what you already carry. For Leo, whose very essence is to radiate, creating a field of magnetic energy begins not from striving but from presence. When you consciously prepare your body, mind, and spirit to align with incoming abundance, you aren't forcing outcomes. You're making space for them to flow toward you naturally, like sunlight entering an open window rather than one that's closed. This phase, this moment in the cosmic rhythm, invites you to realign with your elemental truth. Leo is ruled by the sun, a celestial body that does not compete, chase, or withdraw. It simply shines. And like the sun, your true state of power is effortless illumination. When you begin your day in communion with sunlight, even just 5 minutes of quiet attention, something subtle but profound happens. You're not just absorbing vitamin D, you're aligning your heartbeat with the universal pulse of life. The warmth on your skin is more than temperature, it's a reminder that energy flows toward whatever opens to it. By placing your hands to the morning sky and feeling that current pour into your palms, you begin to awaken a dormant recognition that life is not outside of you. It's waiting to rise from within. Rubbing your palms together may seem like a simple act, but don't mistake simplicity for insignificance. Friction activates sensation. Sensation wakes up awareness. When you feel the heat rising in your hands, it's not just biology, it's embodiment. In many ancient traditions, this movement symbolizes the stirring of inner fire, or what some call life force. For Leo, this fire is not to be controlled but honored. The warmth in your palms is the mirror of the flame in your spirit. When you place those hands over your heart and breathe, you're not performing ritual, you're remembering rhythm. Color, too, carries frequency. To wear gold, ruby red, or radiant orange is not just about style. It's resonance. These hues echo your solar essence. They remind you and everyone around you that you are not here to shrink or fade. When you wear what reflects your power, you invite life to respond to your boldness. Just as a sunflower turns toward the light, so does opportunity turn toward those who stand unapologetically in their brightness. You're not showing off. You're showing up. But as important as preparation is, so is protection, and clarity is your shield. If you constantly feed your mind with low-frequency content, your internal frequency begins to lower in response. News cycles, fear narratives, comparison traps, these drain your light. And Leo needs light to thrive. The more you guard your mental space, the more your natural optimism returns. And from that place, confidence isn't something you manufacture, it rises on its own. There's a quiet wisdom in learning how to guide your own energy. Just like the breath, which naturally deepens when we bring awareness to it, your field of luck expands when you tend to it with presence and care. And care begins with choice, the choice to dress in your truth, to start your day with intention, and to remove yourself from what dims you. You don't need external permission to glow. No one gets to decide when your light is allowed. That's your choice. That's your sovereignty. So if you're wondering where to begin, start here. Place your hands on your heart. Breathe in the memory of who you are. Put on that shirt that makes you feel like royalty. Speak gently to yourself. And then, wait. Watch how the day begins to respond. Because the moment you align with your light, not force it, not pretend it, but truly honor it, the universe has no choice but to reflect it back. Sometimes the universe doesn't speak in words, it speaks in repetition, in sensations, in quiet patterns that tap on your awareness like wind brushing across your skin. For Leo, a sign of fire and instinct, these messages often arrive not with logic, but with feeling. And when the stars are aligned as they are now, those signs don't just hint, they call. You may have already noticed them. Numbers repeating with uncanny precision: 4, 8, 13, 22, 26, 31. They show up on receipts, license plates, timestamps, dreams you barely remember but can't seem to forget. Each one isn't just a number, it's a doorway, a vibration tailored to your personal journey. In numerology, these are codes, each holding a unique frequency. 4 grounds you, 8 magnifies abundance, 13 breaks old cycles, 22 activates potential, 26 stabilizes change, 31 calls in transformation. These numbers don't just appear at random. They align when your energy field is receptive, when your soul is asking deeper questions, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. But it's not just numbers. Your body is listening too. Have you ever reached for something and felt your palm heat up suddenly, as if charged with electricity? Or noticed your heart flutter without cause, not from fear or excitement, but from something unexplainable, like recognition? These physical cues are often overlooked, but they are among the most honest forms of guidance. The body reacts before the mind interprets. Like ripples on the surface of water before the stone even breaks it. When your skin tingles or a sudden warmth spreads through you as you pass a certain location, touch an object, or hear a phrase, that's not coincidence. It's resonance. For Leo, whose ruling force is the sun, symbols of light appear more frequently than you realize. Dreams of sunlight cutting through shadow, lions standing in stillness, golden hues wrapping around strangers or places. These are not just the musings of a sleepy mind. They're mirrors. They reflect the parts of you that are awakening. In contemplative traditions, it is said that all external signs are echoes of internal clarity. That what you notice is less about what's out there and more about what's becoming ready within you. The sign is not the power. The recognition of the sign is. That's why your awareness matters more than any prediction. The more you notice, the more the universe responds. It's like a conversation, quiet at first, but louder the more you listen. And just like a bell that only rings when the wind moves through it, you don't need to chase signs. You only need to be still and perceptive enough to receive them. This is where mindfulness becomes your superpower. Not the kind that tries to control thoughts or force peace, but the kind that observes without judgment. It is said that the awakened mind doesn't demand explanations, it simply watches, recognizes, and responds when the time is right. That is what allows a person to act in harmony with their destiny, rather than in resistance to it. So if you've been wondering whether the signs you've been seeing mean something, yes. They do. They always have. And they don't need validation to be real. If you felt it, if you paused, if your breath caught for even a second, that's the moment it was real. You were never asked to analyze your intuition. Only to honor it. And perhaps that is the quiet miracle you've been overlooking, that the universe has been speaking this whole time, waiting for you to simply say, I hear you. The way we relate to money is never just about money. It's a reflection of how we relate to power, trust, and most importantly, self-worth. For Leo, a sign ruled by the sun, the very symbol of illumination and life-giving force, abundance is not something to be earned through fear or control, but something to be allowed, invited, and received through presence and self-recognition. In essence, money is condensed light, and Leo is one of the few signs that, when awakened to its own value, can radiate that light in a way that draws prosperity in like a gravitational pull. That's why the practice of reprogramming your financial mindset begins not with external action, but with internal calibration. When you speak affirmations like, I am a magnet for all good things, you are not casting a spell, you are removing a veil. You are reminding your body, your nervous system, your subtle energy field that it is safe to receive. That receiving does not require performance, proof, or struggle. It only requires alignment. These statements, "I don't need to prove, I only need to trust," or "money finds me the way sunlight finds the sun," are not meant to manipulate reality. They are invitations to return to it. In many contemplative paths, it is understood that the world mirrors the structure of the mind. If your mind is entangled in scarcity, even overflowing rivers will look like dry streams. But if your awareness is trained to see wealth not just in currency but in time, in breath, in opportunity, then even the smallest doorway becomes a gate to transformation. That's why ritual matters. Not as superstition, but as repetition with presence. When you write your financial desire on paper and place it beneath your pillow, alongside a piece of sunstone or citron, you are entering into agreement with your own subconscious. You are not hoping. You are instructing. You are planting a seed, not begging the sky for rain. The stone becomes a tactile anchor, a symbol of solar strength, joy, clarity. The act of sleeping with it near the head, the symbolic seat of thought and intention, helps bypass resistance. It whispers to your deeper mind, "This is safe. This is already happening." And then, in the morning, before the logic of the day takes over, you place your hands on your heart and speak your gratitude, not for what you hope will come, but for what is already on its way. This shift is subtle, but profound. It is like watering the roots before the leaves have even sprouted. Gratitude doesn't make abundance happen, it lets abundance happen. In certain wisdom traditions, there is a saying, "The one who knows how to bow, receives everything." This doesn't refer to physical posture, but to inner disposition, the quiet readiness to open, to soften, to welcome. Leo, in its highest form, does not demand the world's recognition to shine. It shines, and the world rearranges around it. The more you trust this, the more your outer life reflects it. So don't underestimate the quiet power of your affirmations, your rituals, your breath in the early light. Don't measure their impact by what happens immediately. Trust instead that every time you speak with clarity, every time you feel your worth without explanation, every time you align your intention with truth, the field of abundance expands around you, just like sunlight naturally radiates from the center of the sun. And you, Leo, are that center. You don't chase the light. You are the light. Not all acts of power require noise. Some of the most transformative shifts in our lives begin with gestures so quiet they barely seem to matter. But energy, like water, flows to where it's given space, and Leo, the sign born to shine, often forgets that the most profound radiance is not always the loudest. True influence begins with presence, with kindness, and with choice. That's what this moment in your journey is about, remembering that leadership and generosity are not opposites. They're twins. When you share your light deliberately, not to prove anything but because that's who you are, the world changes. And more than that, you change. Leo's essence is ruled by the sun, a force that gives unconditionally, warming even those who don't ask for it. In the same way, your small acts of compassion now carry more than symbolic weight. They are energetic threads being woven into your life's pattern, each one reinforcing your alignment with abundance and purpose. Whether you're offering a cup of coffee to someone who needs it more than you, or simply whispering, "We win together," in the direction of someone you love, you are doing more than being kind. You are stepping into the vibration of wealth. Not just financial wealth, but the deeper wealth of meaning, of connection, of harmony. Modern science is starting to observe what ancient teachings have long understood. What we feel and how we act affects the energy field not just around us, but around others. When we move from selfishness to selflessness, from isolation to inclusion, we create coherence in the field. This means that your smallest acts of kindness, especially when done consciously and without expectation, ripple out farther than you can imagine. The principle is simple: what you radiate, you amplify. There's a practice that invites us to write the name of a loved one, hold it in our hands, and speak gently to it. We rise together. We receive together. This may sound poetic, but it's based on a real energetic principle. When your mind is rooted in gratitude and inclusion, your entire system, neurological, emotional, magnetic, expands. And in that expansion, you create room for better outcomes. Not because you manipulated the universe, but because you aligned with its natural flow. Giving and receiving are not two different things. They are the inhale and exhale of the same breath. In the same way that a single candle can light 1,000 others without losing its flame, your generosity, even if it feels small, has the power to awaken sleeping light in others. That's why Leo's gift is so important in this time. You are not just a leader, you are a mirror. And the world needs your reflection to remember what's possible. When you declare, "I share light because I am light," you're not only affirming your identity, you're giving others permission to do the same. This is what builds lasting luck. Not temporary windfalls, but true energetic resonance that opens pathways where walls once stood. There's a deep truth echoed in the wisdom of many traditions. When we stop trying to hold everything for ourselves and start sharing what we already have, even if it's just a smile or a kind word, life begins to pour back into us. Effortlessly. Generously. Precisely when we're ready to receive. So if you're wondering how to activate the final layer of this cycle, don't look outside. Look at how you treat others when no one's watching. Look at whether your hands are open to give. Look at the warmth in your actions, even when you think no one notices. Because someone always does. And often, that someone is life itself, watching, waiting, and ready to return everything you've given, multiplied. If you've made it to this point, I know one thing for certain: you're not just casually interested in change, you're ready to embody it. You didn't arrive here by chance. And the path ahead isn't about waiting for luck to strike. It's about remembering that you are the luck. You are the spark, the catalyst, the force that turns momentum into miracles. You don't need to wait for light to find you. You are the sun, Leo. You are the source. Now is the time to trust your fire. You've learned that your most powerful hours are from 3 to 5 p.m. and from 7 to 9 p.m., moments where your energy syncs perfectly with the currents of fortune. You've discovered that signs are everywhere, numbers like 4, 8, 13, 22, 26, 31, repeating for a reason. Heat in your hands when you touch something aligned, vivid dreams and subtle nudges reminding you to act. These aren't random, they're a sacred conversation between your inner world and the one around you. And what happens next is entirely yours to create. Will you follow the ritual? Will you write your desires with clarity, sleep with intention, and wake up with gratitude? Will you dare to declare, not with fear, but with conviction, "I am a magnet for good things"? Because the universe responds to those who move like they believe. Let me ask you something gently, but seriously. If your life were to shift tomorrow, if everything you asked for was about to arrive, would you be ready to receive it? Not just logistically, but energetically, emotionally, spiritually? And if you are, what would you need to let go of tonight to clear the space for it? This is your invitation to take everything we've explored, the affirmations, the colors, the rituals, the timing, the signs, the acts of quiet generosity, and make them real in your daily life. Turn the knowledge into movement. Turn intention into ritual. Turn light into legacy. No one is coming to do it for you, and that's not something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Because it means you hold the pen, you direct the flame. And before we close, let me take a moment, from my heart, to thank you. Thank you for being here. For listening with presence, for allowing yourself to receive, and for being part of this luminous circle we're creating together. Every like, every comment, every subscription isn't just support, it's energy in motion. It helps this message reach others who, just like you, are ready to step into their true power. Together, we are building more than a channel, we are building a movement of mindful awakening. This is eternal mindfulness, and you are not alone. If this message resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Share it. Speak on it. Let someone else feel seen through your reflection. And if you're truly ready to claim what's next, I invite you to comment below. I am ready to step into the light of my destiny. Because once you say it, once you own it, everything begins to shift. You're not waiting anymore, Leo. You're rising. And the world is ready for your light.